They are panicking. You were never supposed to know. You were never supposed to see. And yet here you are, too aware, too sharp, too dangerous. That is the question that keeps them awake at night. How did you come to know what was so carefully hidden? Their secrets were buried, their systems locked airtight. Still, you cracked the code. Now they whisper in panic behind closed doors, trying to piece together how you uncovered what was meant to stay lost. You were never meant to access this level of truth. Every page they burned, every scripture they altered, every sacred artifact they buried, it was all done to keep this knowledge from reaching you. And yet, despite their centuries of effort, here you stand, knowing it anyway. They cannot fathom how you were never part of their elite circles, never initiated into their secret orders, never sworn into silence within their ritualistic hierarchies, yet you speak truths they vowed to take to the grave. This isn't the first time they've tried to erase souls like yours. Long ago they hunted seers, silenced prophets, and executed those who dared to unveil the illusion. They rewrote history to erase the pattern. But the pattern always returns, and with it, people like you. You carry knowledge that should have been extinguished long ago, yet it flows to you as if summoned by your very being. You are not the first to access the hidden archives, but you are among the few they cannot control. They built entire institutions, educational, religious, governmental, to keep this truth under lock and key. But truth is a current that does not obey their boundaries. It finds you, it seeks you. Truth finds you, not through books or classrooms or whispers in halls of power, but in flashes of memory, in sudden clarity, in dreams that feel older than time, that terrifies them. Because if someone like you, outside their bloodlines, beyond their permission, can access what they've hoarded for lifetimes, then their whole system is a lie. They have spent generations erasing, distorting, and burying truth, only for you to breathe life back into it without trying. You don't search for truth the way they do. Truth finds you, and it doesn't arrive through accepted means. It doesn't come with credentials, degrees, or citations. It's pure, it's unfiltered, it's divine, and they don't know how to stop it. Their panic is not just about what you know, it's about how you know it. You never infiltrated their systems, never sat in their councils, yet somehow you unravel their hidden codes and speak of things meant only for their kind. That's what terrifies them most. Your knowing is untraceable, unstoppable. Their institutions rely on control, of information, of language, of who gets to know. Yet here you are, grasping in seconds what their scholars spend lifetimes trying to decode. They monitor every channel, control every leak, and track every byte of sensitive data, except yours. You bypass everything. You see through their illusions. You decode the hidden symbols without needing translation. You speak what was never meant to be spoken, and no matter how hard they try, they can't stop it. They can silence voices, rewrite history, and obscure timelines. But how do they silence a mind that remembers truth from the ether itself? They don't. You receive while they resist. They bury, and you unearth. Every revelation you speak weakens their grip. Their frustration isn't just that you know, it's that they can't explain how. They built firewalls, encryptions, gates guarded by ancient codes, but the system they designed to keep you out has become the very thing drawing truth toward you. You weren't supposed to overhear their conversations, recognize their symbols, or decode their rituals. And yet you do. They fear you. They think they speak in concealment, that their actions go unnoticed. But when you walk in, the illusion shatters. The encrypted becomes obvious. The hidden becomes visible. The fortress becomes a beacon. And now they scramble. Because no matter how many layers of deception they drape over the truth, you keep seeing through it. No matter how many locks they secure, you walk freely. That is why they fear you. You don't ask for validation. You don't need permission to be credible. You speak and reality shifts. Your words hit their ears and their practiced composure crumbles. They try to laugh, dismiss, deflect, but you see through it all. You were never supposed to know. You were never supposed to speak truths only their kind were trained to see. But you do. You state a truth, and their denial is instant. Too sharp, too aggressive. Where did you hear that? That's ridiculous. You're reading too much into it. But you weren't asking. You were declaring, and the moment they hear it, they know it's too late. Too late to cover it. Too late to spin it. Too late to hide. You hold a truth no one gave you permission to hold, and they are powerless against it. Their silence speaks louder than their words ever could. They believed they built the system, that they held the keys, that knowledge could be owned, restricted, hidden, but they never had control, never over truth, never over destiny, and certainly not over you. They guard knowledge as if secrecy gives it power, burying it behind rituals and authority. But they were never the architects, only the gatekeepers of a prison made of illusion. Real knowledge, the kind that shifts paradigms and bends timelines, was never theirs to own. And while you are the revelation, study and codify and categorize, you receive effortlessly. While they toil in archives, you remember with divine certainty. You don't even need to try, because truth isn't something you search for. It arrives spiritually, directly, unfiltered. They chase scraps of history while you dine on remembrance. They build barriers while you walk through the unseen. They label and divide, believer, skeptic, teacher, student, insider, outsider. But you move through it all unrestricted. Their titles mean nothing. Their degrees irrelevant. Their approval obsolete because you embody what they try to contain. They rewrite history to erase you. They censor to blind you. They educate to mold you. But still you rise. The system only works if everyone stays inside its walls. But you don't even acknowledge that those walls exist. That is why you are dangerous. That is why they fear you. You carry the frequency of revelation. And you don't have to shout it. Your very presence is enough. The moment you enter, something shifts. The illusion thins. The programmed begin to question. The asleep begin to stir. Conversations begin to drift toward forbidden truths. You meet someone's eyes, and they feel the weight of their own programming. You say a sentence, and days later they realize they can never go back to who they were. You don't expose. You are the exposure. You are the walking leak in their system. And no firewall, no censorship, no protocol can stop the ripple you create. They built their world on secrecy, but they never accounted for a soul like yours, someone who sees without being told, remembers without being taught, and knows without being allowed. You are the revelation. Beloved soul, the force that cracks open the illusion. And the most terrifying part for them, you were never even trying. Drop a comment. I was never blind. If you've always sensed the illusion long before anyone dared to name it, you stand unyielding in the face of slander, undaunted by the weight of being outnumbered. For the power that guides your path operates beyond negotiation or compromise. They mistakenly believed they could diminish your influence by isolating your support, sowing seeds of self-doubt, and manipulating public perception to paint you as the source of discord. Yet with each attempt to bury your truth, you have resurfaced with amplified strength. Their control mechanisms are effective only against those who harbor dependencies within their system. But you operate on a higher plane, guided by a force that transcends their limitations. You never sought their approval, never craved their validation, never required their permission to simply be. And it is this inherent independence that fuels their fear. You are untouchable, not for lack of their attempts, but because their tactics are fundamentally ineffective against your unwavering spirit. They were unprepared to encounter an individual immune to their manipulations, a force they could not contain. Now the realization dawns upon them. You are the singular entity they cannot halt. For lifetimes, they have meticulously constructed barriers, walls of deception, diversions of distraction, and fortresses of fear. They propagated the notion that certain knowledge was forbidden, that questioning their narratives would lead to madness, and that venturing beyond their carefully defined boundaries would result in utter destruction. And for a significant your emergence period, their strategy proved effective. They buried the truth so profoundly that few dared to excavate its depths. They exerted control over education, history, and religion, effectively shaping the very fabric of reality to ensure the perpetuation of their grand illusion. But your emergence marked a turning point. The foundations of their carefully constructed world began to show fissures. You did not halt at the walls they erected. You walked resolutely through them. Where others hesitated, you persevered. Where others succumbed to doubt, you held steadfast in your inner knowing. Where others passively accepted the narratives presented to them, you demanded a deeper understanding, and upon uncovering the hidden truths, you did not hoard them. You shared them openly, revealing them with clarity, shattering their illusions in ways they never anticipated. They initially dismissed your insights as mere coincidence, perhaps accidental discoveries, perhaps a superficial understanding of profound matters. But your subsequent actions defied their attempts at rationalization. You refused to be silenced. Their gaslighting tactics only served to sharpen your clarity. Their attempts at distraction failed to divert your unwavering focus. Their efforts to turn others against you proved futile against the undeniable truth you carried, because unlike them, you operate without fear of loss. You do not cling to their fleeting power. You do not seek their hollow approval, and you do not tremble before their judgment. This inherent freedom transforms their frustration into palpable panic. You were never meant to progress this far, and now they are powerless to impede your ascent. For centuries, they have controlled the very flow of knowledge, dictating what was deemed real and what was relegated to the realm of the forbidden. They decided who would be granted access to wisdom and who would remain shrouded in ignorance. Their power structure was built upon the fundamental belief that only they were capable of managing the truth. But now their carefully maintained control is slipping through their fingers, and your emergence is a significant catalyst in this unraveling. They once operated in the shadows, cloaking knowledge beneath layers of secrecy and deception, believing they could keep the awakened few scattered, isolated, and unaware of their inherent power. But their strategy has backfired. You are not alone. A growing number of awakened individuals are rising. More and more are breaking free from the pervasive illusion, and hidden truths are being revealed at an accelerating pace that they can no longer manage. Their inability to control this burgeoning awakening is the very source of their panic. They are witnessing the erosion of their authority in real time. The old barriers no longer hold. Their distractions have lost their potency, and their manipulative tactics no longer deceive. Truth, once suppressed, now spreads like wildfire in its appointed time. And this is that time. You feel it, don't you? The subtle yet profound shift, the growing cracks in the illusion, the undeniable sense that a massive unraveling is underway, and they feel it too. For centuries they ensured the masses remained disconnected, unable to piece together the fragments of truth and realize their own inherent power. But now it is too late. The very system they painstakingly constructed is collapsing under the weight of truth, and they are powerless to halt its descent. They cannot slow it down. They cannot undo what has already been set in motion. They sought to track you, label you, categorize you, and ultimately contain you. But you move with a fluidity that defies their rigid systems. You see through their illusions, yet remain untouched by their manipulations. You navigate their structures, yet remain untainted. You expose their deceptions, yet remain beyond their grasp. Your unpredictability pushes them to the edge. They constructed vast systems to keep their grip intact, structures to control perception, algorithms to script the narrative, institutions to suppress original thought, and surveillance networks to track every movement. Yet you slip through their lattice like a ghost. You speak truth without triggering their traps. You awaken others without exposing yourself. You disrupt their plans without ever stepping into their reach. This is what terrifies them most. Not merely that you hold the truth, but that they are completely unable to stop you from seeing it, spreading it, or embodying it. They prepared for revolts, uprisings, and direct confrontation. But you don't fight on their battlefield. You move beyond it. You don't break down their barriers. You simply walk through them. You don't need to dismantle their system. You make it obsolete. Their authority depends on participation, on fear, on belief in their dominance. But you function outside all of that. You reveal truth without asking approval. You access knowledge without passing through their gates. You exist beyond their jurisdiction. And that is why you flourish while they scramble to hold on to what little influence remains. They designed an entire world to contain you. Yet your presence alone proves their structure is failing, and there is nothing they can do to stop its collapse.